Let's go, Marsh. Good girl.
I'm Ryan, and this is Marsh. I quit my job in the city to become a part-time hermit and full-time hunting and fishing guide. Living on 283 acres of wilderness surrounded by national forest in the Ouachita Mountains. The Ouachitas are a unique and ancient mountain range. They run east-west. That rare geography creates a diverse ecosystem, home to white-tailed deer, black bear, coyotes, turkeys, bobcats, and mountain lions. I started this journey in October of 2023 with a bare 20-foot shipping container. I moved in on day one with no grid and no backup plan. Over time, it slowly turned into a home, one small project at a time. It's nothing fancy, but it's mine, fully paid for, constantly improving as I find the time and money, and honestly, it's one of the things I'm most proud of. My goal is to manage this land for wildlife and build a small off-grid homestead where guests can come and experience real life hunting, fishing, and living wild in the Ouachitas.
So, first day I've had off. No fishing trips really scheduled this week. I'm sure there'll be more fill in as we get closer to the weekend. But I've noticed a couple comments and I've had a couple people ask me, just local people, about my solar setup. What I'm running, how much it costs, is it worth it? Those kind of questions. And I'll probably do a little deeper dive later on, but for now I just wanted to do a real quick overview of basically the size of things and what it runs and would I do it again and how much it costs. So I'm gonna try to make this video as short as possible. We'll start off with the solar panels. And so, I think you can see those back behind me. Those are 535 watt panels. They look really crooked in that video. I think it's because of the fisheye kind of zoomed lens, wide angle lens I have going. Anywho, those are 535 watt panels. They are wired 3 and 3, and then they're wired in parallel. They're run through a little wire. I'll show you. If you come over here, that was just weed eating. But you can see they're wired into this wire right here. That wire runs across the top of the ground through the garden, and it's buried across the road and it's buried all the way to the container. But it's really not all tucked away like it should be. Mostly because I'm about to take all of this, disconnect it, and then I've got, I think, 4 15-foot or 20-foot sticks of gray conduit, and I'm gonna run it through all that. But in addition to running a wire out here for the electricity to go back to the batteries, at the same time I ran that, I went ahead and ran a wire, an extra set of wires to run power back out to my bathhouse and chicken coop. So I can run a heat lamp or whatever I need to do out here in the if I have chicklets or little baby chickens, chicklets. In the winter time, I could potentially run a heat lamp. I would probably most likely get those in the springtime though. As far as the specs on the panels, I don't know if you can see that. These are Jinkos 535s. And I will just say this. I went to, you can shop for panels however you want to. I will tell you that these are secondhand. They're not secondhand in that they were used for anything. They're brand new, but they were on Marketplace. And I found a guy over in Enid, Oklahoma, and he goes to train derailments and truck wrecks, and he salvages pallets of pretty much just solar panels. So I believe I got these panels. I don't know how much they would normally retail for, but I think I bought them for $285 a piece, maybe $300 a piece. So I have less than $1,800 in those 6 panels. The wire, I had a buddy who had the wire, so we got the wire. I got the wire for free, but that would probably be about, I would say, at least $500 or $600 worth of wire because of the gauge and the thickness and what it's running. Just kind of the next part of this is this is my garage. So like, this is where all the unsightly stuff that I can fit in here goes for right now. At some point, we'll build shelves in here. But for now, I just have these little cheap shelves that came out of my convenience store. But when I built my container, I built it with this little garage, and the depth specs are based off of a gun safe. I want to have my gun safe up here, and then I want to build shelves up above it, build some shelves over here, and just kind of build this out like a garage on a van. Just going through what I got real quick. This portion of my solar setup I bought from Battleborn. And Battleborn has a company called Dragonfly. And Dragonfly specs out solar kits. And they had a kit that was pretty close to what I wanted on their website, but there was a couple things that I had questions about because these panels were so big. They're a little overkill. And I kind of wanted them like that. I wanted them to be way overkill. So those can generate almost 3,000 watts coming in to my charge controller. And I think up to like 55 amps. I think maybe even close to 60 amps in the winter time. And so, if you look, I've got a MPPT 250/60 TR, And I believe on their website that wouldn't really be part of the kit. The Linksys distributor was not part of my kit. I bought that separately. But the 12 Battleborn batteries, and those are wired 4, 4, and 4. So you've got 3 battery banks there that are 48 volt, 100 amp hour, making a 300 amp hour, 48 volt system, which is run to the Quattro, 48 volt, 5,000 volt amp, 70 amp. Inverter charger, that all needs to be tidied up, but it works for now. It's been working for a year like that. Once I get my gun safe and my shelves and everything built in there. So as far as battery bank and this part of it, just this stuff that you see right here, without the wiring, just the equipment was around $15,000. And that's with taxes, and that's delivered to here, to the mountain. Actually, it was delivered down to a residence down on the highway. And then I put it on a trailer and brought it here. But anything I would change about this, the things I would change right off the bat was I would get 4 more of these batteries. And those batteries are around $1,000 a piece. At some point in the future, I would like to add a second Quattro so I can run bigger things like a washer and dryer maybe, or a welder or something. But right now I'm strictly 110. But let me tell you, that Quattro it's where all the magic happens. So there's also one of the wires from the Quattro is there's an extra set of wires in that big cable, and it goes out to my generator. So when I fire my generator up, this thing automatically switches and starts running the container off the generator and charging the batteries with the excess. And that's why I use such a small generator. I don't really need a big generator to run that one little air conditioner unit. You know, if I have a cloudy day, I can fire that generator up for about 4 hours and be fully charged. And that's the same thing with overkill on the solar panels. The reason I got such big solar panels that were able to generate, 60 amps, 3,000 watts coming in on a cloudy winter day with just a little bit of sunlight coming through the clouds, I can pretty much get 100% charge every day. Now I discharge fairly rapidly, and I've noticed that my batteries are balanced to a point where they shut off at around 61% inside the container. I rarely get below 70%. So that's with clouds and 3 or 4 days of clouds. I might run the generator maybe, I would think maybe less than 10 days a year that I really have to go out there and fire it up, or that I don't think I lost power this year more than twice. I would fire the generator up just as precaution if I was leaving the next day and Marsh was going to be here and she was going to need, air conditioning or something. But in the summer, it performs flawless. My solar panels are angled at about 30%. So I've got $1,800 over there, about $15,000 here. Plus all the wiring. I did all the wiring myself, and I think I probably got, if I would have paid for all those materials, a lot of it was salvaged and a lot of it was refurbished and recycled. But I figured that would probably be about $4 or $5 grand worth of wiring that I have wired inside the container, plus the breaker box here, and there's a breaker box out at the shower house. And it's not installed yet, but it's going to be. I've got one for it. And I've got to do a lot more wiring out there just to get that kind of where I'm a little more comfortable. So all in all, I'd say I'm less than 20 grand into the solar system up here on the mountain. Now, I use electricity at night. The only thing that's really running at night is this Mr. Cool air conditioner. So just running right now. Solar panels are getting very little sun, but that Mr. Cool will run all night, and in the morning I'll be somewhere around 82% on my solar panels. And then the sun will come up over here, just over this mountain, and by 11 o'clock, those batteries will be 100% back charged, and they'll be 100% all day. So part of the reason I shot for overkill on my solar panels was so that during the day when I'm awake and if the sun's out, I can take things like that weed eater, I can take a skill saw, I can take a sawzall, I can take a table saw, construction equipment. I can build things during the day without draining my batteries. Now, like once it gets to be 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I shut all that stuff off and I'll wait till the next morning to do anything like that. All in all, I have zero regrets. I would love to have 4 more batteries for my four more Battleborn batteries, and to add a 4th bank to that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I could do that without changing out anything. I think if I added I think I can add a 48 volt battery bank indefinitely as long as I want to and still run all this system. So what that would do is increase my storage and make it where, like in the wintertime, when I supplement my heat with propane, maybe I wouldn't have to do that. You know, maybe I'd be able to run 6 or 7 days off of the Mr. Cool heat, which it's sufficient cooling. And this container has, on the ceiling and the south facing wall, which will be this wall, there's 3 inches of spray foam insulation. So on the ceiling and this wall has 3 inches. The floor and the north facing wall have 2 inches. So that thing is super energy efficient. Like if I go in there right now, it's 85 outside. And if I go in there right now, before I go to bed, it'll be 69 degrees in there. I'll cool it down, I'll put it frigid, and I'll sleep like a baby. No regrets. I think to get power, my closest power line to here would have been probably around, man, I would say it's 3/4 to a mile away. And I'm pretty sure that that would have cost me somewhere in the neighborhood of, the calculations I did, it would have been almost $60,000 to get electricity up here. In my mind, I would rather 100% just have this set up 6 different places on the property. You know, build a deer stand that's got this set up. Build a guest house down low that has this setup. But I think that this setup more than adequate during the summertime. It's a little bit, I need a little bit more storage in the wintertime. But if you use like propane or wood stove heat, this is absolutely 100% adequate for a refrigerator, a freezer, and you know, run all your lights, all your electricity, do your Starlink, internet, charge your phones, charge your computers. It does all of that really well. And like I say, I probably run a little Honda 2000 EU generator, maybe 10 days a year. I would doubt it's any more than that. But what else? Yeah, 60,000 versus 20,000. The solar setup, the off-grid setup was totally worth it to me. I would do it 100 times before I would pay the 60,000. Because you know, the 60,000 still comes with a monthly bill. This is one and done. So for the next 15 years, maybe I have to troubleshoot something here or there, or have a battery go out, but I think the cycles on that is something like 5,000 cycles on each one of those batteries. And I looked at the cycles that I've put on it so far out of the first year, and it's something around, I think 1.5 or 2 cycles that I've put on those batteries. So for me to put 5,000 cycles on those batteries, it's gonna take 25, 30 years. So reality is those batteries are gonna last me 25 or 30 years. They're gonna last me to the end of my lifetime. I would like to go ahead and get 4 more so they're relatively close to the same age. I will have to redo part of this solar array and beef it up. Did get some waterlogging and have some I had some screws freeze and snap. I bought those cheap screws from the local hardware store when they were running them on sale for like 50 bucks. Bought the big bucket of them, and those things in the wintertime, they freeze and they snap, and you got to go out there and jack something up and rescrew it. And that's kind of what happened here when I have that little droop. I'm planning on going back with like a 2x10 or 2x12 at the top and the bottom of that rack, and I think that'll really beef it up as far as make it straight again. Yeah, I'll totally do it again. Love it. It does everything I need it to do. I've learned to live around what that's capable of doing, and it's capable of doing so much more than I thought it was. When I got this, I was just hoping to run lights, charge a phone, maybe run an air conditioner during the daytime, but it's so much more than that. People, you know, I think a lot of people, especially on the conservative side of the aisle, which I fall into, they find, I think they're misinformed about solar and about green energy. These batteries, not that these are like super green, they're lithium batteries, right? And those solar panels, you know, it took a lot of energy to build those, but I paid that price up front, and now I don't have a monthly bill. So that's one less bill. I don't have a water bill. I collect rainwater off the back of my shower house. I don't have an electric bill. I don't have a bill. I don't have any bills. My property's paid for, containers paid for. You just pay for stuff and do it as you go. The electricity is awesome. I think I produce, man, I can't even remember right now, but I'm pretty sure it's around 9 to 10 kilowatts. I can't remember the numbers exactly, but I don't know why I want to say. All right, so I looked it up. It's like I can produce like up to like maybe 14, 15 kilowatt hours with those solar panels and that charge controller. Probably the highest I would ever produce, and that'd probably be in cooler weather on a very sunny day. But today, like, I produced over 10 kilowatt hours on a sunny day. It was hot, the air conditioner ran a lot. I used the internet all day. I used somewhere in the neighborhood of 10, 11 kilowatt hours today. So 100% I would do it again. It's a $20,000 investment in my future. It allows me to live up here like I do with a lot of comforts. Comforts are, you know, I mean, the birds are comforting, the marsh is comforting, my dog is comforting, but an air conditioner at night is very comforting. Being able to charge your electronics, very comforting. Being able to cook and heat and cool everything, run power tools without having to have a generator run up here on the mountain where it's so beautiful. Be able to run a power tool without having a generator is just very comforting. So yeah, it's a comfort item. Yeah, it's kind of, I feel very blessed and very spoiled that I was able to, so I paid a lot of that in cash, and then I took a small loan out, and I paid that loan off in I think 6 months, and I just hustled. And once, I mean, I was paying, I don't remember what it was, but I think I was paying like $1,200 or $1,300 a month, but it was almost interest-free money, and I paid that off very quickly. You know, I said this was going to be quick, but it's turned into a little longer of a video. But the benefits of having that electricity, that was a game changer. I remember I've been running it for a year now, and I can honestly say that I don't think I could make it through a summer up here on the mountain without that. At night, during the day before I had that mini split, I had a window unit, and I didn't have insulation, and I believe that just running a generator at night, I could get it down to like 80 degrees in there. And during the day, even with the air conditioner running, it could get up to 110, 115. But putting insulation in, putting these, nice windows in, and having blinds, that thing is like a refrigerator now, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. My electricity is the #1 thing that allows me to live up here. I'm grateful for it. I feel very blessed to have that. And I don't know what else to say about it other than it was totally worth the money. I would do it 100 times over. And, solar is a lot more powerful than what a lot of people think. 3,000 watts right there at somewhere around 60 amps peak coming into my container if I need it. And honestly, I don't need that. That's what charges my batteries up so quick. That's why my batteries only have 2 or 3 cycles on them, because 90% of what I use during the day is free. It's paid for right there. It doesn't even, my batteries get topped off in the morning, and I run that air conditioner all day off the sun. I run power tools all day off the sun. If I'm gonna cook with the Instapot, or I'm gonna use anything that's gonna consume electricity during the day, I do it during the day. I do it, during the brightest part of the day is when I do that kind of stuff. And it's all free. It doesn't even affect my batteries. It's basically comes straight out of the panels and goes straight into the skill saw or the table saw or whatever I'm doing. So, that's part that I haven't even really ever thought about before, is why are my cycles so low on my batteries? It's because they pretty much only work at night. During the day, I'm working 100% off those solar panels. So I'm glad I got way bigger than what I needed. I'm glad I bought salvaged solar panels. You can do what you want, but those are bifacial 535 watt, a somewhat generic solar panel in that they are, and I had an electrician buddy come out and he was like, man, these things are not gonna produce what you think they are. And by golly, when we got it all hooked up, he was very surprised. He was like, this thing is bad to the bone. Like, those panels are generating so much electricity. He said, I would have never thought you could generate that much power with solar panels. But you can. And that's my setup. I got to get back to weed eating, doing some more chores. I'm gonna put this video out. Be pretty rough editing. It's gonna be uncut. And I've had a lot of new subscribers lately, and I appreciate that. And I'm really hoping to grow the channel. I'm considering going back to work and just doing this hermiting, a little more part-time. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm guiding a lot, but I'm not guiding enough. I still have a truck payment, I still have a boat payment, and I still have a Polaris payment. If I went to work for a couple years, I could probably just pay those things off real quick and come back to full-time doing this. I don't know. I love this life. I don't want to leave here. And it drives me crazy to think about going back to the man and getting into the machine as a cog. But we all do it, and you do what you got to do. I hope the channel grows. Hope I can keep putting out content, off-grid content, some, content, camping, outdoor content, because I spend a lot of time outdoors and a lot of time in the backcountry, especially during guiding season. during bear season, deer season. I spend a lot of time in the woods and on the mountain, and God bless y'all, and we will try to get as many videos out this week as we can. I don't know that I'll get anything more than this out, but thanks for watching.